So the news is that around the Indian-China border, there's a frequency of observing UFOs, and I mean this is amazing. Of course, in third world countries, I don't think you see UFOs. UFOs happen in countries that have space programs and that are developing some sophisticated sort of technologies. And that's the reason why they're seeing a whole bunch around the Indian-China border. I mean, China is working on some aircraft and some missiles and some aviation techniques for war and other things like that, and all kinds of designs, and it looks as if it's UFOs, but there's nothing like that. There's no UFO. I mean, all the documented ones in London, in Toronto, in America, in China, it's military stuff they're working on in Arizona. It's military hardware. And in our societies, though, that don't have these advanced technologies where they're practicing and doing the maneuvers and trying out the new things at night. And they usually do it at night. I mean, they don't want you to see the design and see its real effect and so on. So they wait the night to bring it out. But in our countries, we see short people, and sometimes they say they're green and looking all kind of funny, so as to say that these are people from other planets. But there's no UFOs around. I mean, believe me, in other worlds, there are other worlds. There, I don't know, maybe at least I know of, let me say at least two, because there were, or there was such a world before Earth, and then after Earth there was another world, because humans were created and put on this planet here so as to grow up and be perfect and follow God and so on, and then become angels and replace the devils who have fallen. But we fell also, like Adam and Eve. We lost that opportunity. And so God went ahead and created another world, and it seems as if they have succeeded in replacing the devils. At this time, the devil's destruction is certain, and coming up real soon, they'll be meeting the judgment. But these worlds, for example, it seems as if the number of angels that we were to replace, we would have made that number maybe in the first 1,000 years, perhaps, or earlier than that, because these folks are Adam and Eve. They were so giant, and they had reproductive capability. They may turn up to 500 years, maybe up to 700 years. So they could have made at least 50 kids. And they were being born as twins, so like 100. So if every couple makes 100, and everyone makes 100, then I don't know what was the number of the angels that fell, but we would have had that number a long time ago. And we wouldn't have developed the type of weapons we have of war and flight and all this stuff, because man hadn't come to live here, as it seems to many, forever. And so the other worlds, these people have a very, as we would call, primitive life. But that is so wonderful. They don't have the hot sun, so they don't need suit and tie and rough winters and summers and all that stuff. They just have an even temperature. The same principle that had existed in the beginning, where there was this water around the earth, and the sun would heat up during the day, and at night, as the sun went around, keep heating the water around, and the water keeps giving out its heat during the night, so as to keep it even temperature. It absorbs the heat during the day, and it gives off the warmth during the night, so that it was more like a high spring, low fall. Right? That is, as soon as fall began, and when the spring comes close to the summer, it was a very comfortable temperature. And so they don't have no police station, there's no hospital, so there's no medical technology in order to go along with the ambulance and so on. They could just go from place to place by just whatever means they use, call it flight. Like Moses and Elijah, they came from heaven to earth real quick, and they went back. I mean, with the type of vehicles we have, it will take them almost almost maybe well at least 100 light years. That's traveling 186,000 miles per second. It will take them 100 years to get from the Earth Sun Major, which is called the Big Dipper, and heaven is way beyond that. So you know how long it would have taken, but they got there in a couple of hours, or so long, or a minute or whatever. We see when Gabriel was commissioned to go and explain to Daniel the vision. While he was praying, God said, go and tell him, before you even finish 5 minutes, 10 minutes prayer, the angel was there, and so on. And so, there's no need for those vehicles. So since they don't have no vehicles, there is no vehicles to send here. And many of them, which aren't from some military program, could be just optical illusions. Because the Bible says that the devil is going to be out in the desert and telling people, hey, Christ is out here, come and see him. And he's going to do fantastic things to make it appear as if it's real. He's going to bring fire down from heaven and so on. And he could create in the minds of, by the way, if a person is led of God and a child of God, there's no way he's going to expose himself to magic. But the tricks that people get tied up with, he will get tied up with that. Because God is going to be protecting him, and he's not curious to find out stuff like that. So in my case, I never tried to find what if drugs really does harm you. I see harm in others. I don't need to try that. I mean, I see some things that harm some people, which aren't necessary. I mean, I see where women kill men and men kill women, but they still want to get married and have a relationship, and God will protect it from those extreme experiences of death and killing and so on. But so the UFO that they're seeing by India and China out there, maybe even India working on some stuff, but for sure China's working on some advanced stuff that they want to keep secret, so they do it at night. And folks seeing it and thinking it's UFOs.